Hello students, welcome into the another session of CS 22, that is operating system concepts using Linux Unix. As all of you knows that in our last lecture we have introduced the syllabus which is prescribed by the Saurashtra University for this particular subject in front of you, and then we have started with the basic definition of operating system, several classification of computers and various other things we have introduced in our previous lecture. So let's continue today's discussion. We have started with unit number 1, that is introduction, where we have first introduced the definition of operating system. Into the definition of operating system, we says that operating system is a collection of software that manage various types of computer hardware, resources and common services for the computer program. The operating system is a vital component of the software into the computer system. In market, there is no only a single type of operating system which we know as Windows. No doubt, Windows is very popular. It have many versions like, or we can say the flavors like Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 10, various types of Windows Server. The option of Windows which is more secure but less popular is Unix and Linux. And even there is another operating system which is specially designed for the hardware, that is Mac OS. In this subject, we are not going to discuss more about Windows and Mac OS. We will focus on Linux and Unix. Now, let's go ahead. Generally, we say that operating system is a one type of interface between the computer user and the computer hardware. That means user cannot directly interact with hardware without the bridge of software. Even there is a vice versa. Hardware cannot give the output to the user via the bridge of software, or you can say that system software called operating system. So that's why operating system is a software which performs all the basic tasks like file management, process management, memory management, handling various types of input and output, and with this even they control various types of peripherals. That means the input as well as the output devices like CD-ROM, printer, keyboard, mouse, monitor, etc., etc., etc. In market, there are variety of operating systems are available, which is mentioned on your screen. Like I have already told you earlier, Windows, Linux, VMS, OS/400, AIX, ZOS, etc. etc. Many types of operating systems are available in market. 4. Variety of work. The selection of operating system always depends on the work which you want to do at your home or the organization where you want to set up the number of computers by deciding the nature of users who is going to use the operating system into the computers. Now, whatever we have speak is represented in format of one picture onto the screen. In this layout, you can see that on a upper part there are n number of users. I have mentioned user 1, user 2 up to user n. Multiple users are there. Operating system always supports multiple users. That is called as multi-user operating system. And almost all the current operating systems are multi-user operating system. That means by installing the single operating system into the computer and by creating the number of users, they can separately access their resources. If the permission is not given between the two users, then they cannot share their data with each other. So, even we can say that it is a one part of security which operating system provides. We will not speak more heavy words related to the operating system because it might create the confusion. So after the layer of user, there is a intermediate layer called software, where we have says that software are of two different types. One is system software and another is application software. Where system software is any type of operating system which we have installed, either it may be Windows, either it might be Linux, Unix, Mac OS, and we can say that any of the flavor from all this. Now in this operating system, every application software get installed, and through this layer it can be accessed, through this layer they access the various types of hardware like central processing unit, random access memory, various types of input output devices. So we can say that user or users are not directly related with the hardware. User must have to go through this software section for accessing the hardware. Reverse case, if any of this hardware returns the output, that output cannot be displayed directly to the number of users which they have requested. It should be passed through the layer of software and then it should be displayed on the user side. So this was actually the justification of text which we have given into the previous slide in format of picture. Now operating system performs various types of functionality. This is very important for the university point of view. Question may be asked like this: write down the functions of operating system. So the basic functions of operating system are: first, memory management; second, process management; third, device management; fourth, file management; security; control over the system performance, job accounting, error detection, codes, which is also called as ITS, coordination between the various types of software and user. See, these are the basic functionality of designing any operating system. This is not the complete list. We can say that suppose we want to design a first pure Indian operating system, which is not still possible till date. All the operating systems is not made in India. It was designed by the developers who resides out of India and the company who resides out of India. So we can take initiative. You can take initiative for designing the first Indian operating system which supports regional language support, where the entire operating system supports the local languages. Why I am telling, why I am sharing this with all of you? Because in some of the states in our India, they use their regional languages only. Say for example, suppose you went at the south side, they insist to use either English or their regional language. None of the operating system which is right now present in the market supports the regional languages. They supports English. Yes, we can change just the text of operating system by the regional settings which is available into the control panel. That is something different than what I am sharing with all of you. Anyways, leave it. But if we wish to design our own operating system, then as a designer, or you can say the builder or a developer or architect designer for the computer operating system, we have to keep all these things in our mind. We should require to know about the memory management, how it does. In our subject, there is a separate chapter for this word called memory management. Then secondly, we should require to know about process management, how operating system handles the various types of processes. We'll not discuss more about this in detail because we have to discuss each and every each and every one separately as a chapter. Third one is device management, then file management, the security of data, overall performance monitoring of the system. That means once the user has requested, system should give real time response. This is also the responsibility of operating system. Then a job accounting. It's very simple. The user can select or can give the input of multiple processes. Operating system should queue every processes in such a sequence that user will get their output one by one. This entire scenario, in short, it is known as job accounting. No doubt, even in our subject, this one is also given as a separate chapter. Even all previous one is given as a separate chapter. So we are going to discuss it in detail whenever we are there. During this entire executions, it might possible that error is generated due to the improper output or the hardware failure or the improper output. This error should be easily readable and detectable by the users. Even this is the responsibility of operating system. So this could be done using error detection, various types of error detection codes. And lastly, the coordination is required. That means, suppose you move the mouse from left to right, the cursor moves accordingly. So there is a coordination between the device called mouse. It has been managed by the operating system, might be any like Windows, Linux, Unix, etc. And the control is given by the user. So as per the user's requirement, that means if user move the mouse cursor left hand side, the mouse cursor should be moved to the left hand side. If user move the mouse cursor on right hand side or up and down, accordingly that the cursor should move. For that, the hardware coordination with the software should be real time and proper. So even this is the functionality of operating system. Now all this are discussed in detail one by one. That means, what is memory management first? Memory management refers to the memory management refers to the management of primary memory, or we can say the main memory. All of you have already learned in computer fundamental in semester number 1 that memory is of two types. One is primary memory and second is secondary memory. Primary memory is temporary memory which holds the user's information till the power supply is on. If you want to permanently save your data into the system, then we have to move our data from primary storage to the secondary storage, which is called as hard disk, CD-ROM, pen drive, etc. etc. For that, by pressing the shortcut key called Ctrl S, we are saving the record. That means when we save the record, contents are moved from primary storage to the secondary storage. Just for the testing purpose, type, that means first open our notepad file, type your name in that notepad file and directly switch off the computer then again start the computer, you will not see the content which you have written into the notepad. Now test number 2. Again open our notepad, type your name and save it with some name onto the particular drive. Then shut down the system, again restart the system and open the file. You will get your name. That means the contents are transferred from primary storage to the secondary storage. This is done by, or whatever we have tried to communicate with you, is the part of memory management. Main memory provides a fast storage that can be accessed directly by the central processing unit for executing the various programs. Even one more experiment you can do. Just start your computer for the first time in an entire day. Select any application, double click on that application and just start your stopwatch and stop the watch when when that particular software get executed. For example, in this semester you have Visual Studio 2008. Just install it and open it for the first time and monitor the time in your stopwatch for the execution of first time. Simply close that application without restarting the computer. Try to open that application again, that means for the second time, and monitor the execution time. You don't believe the execution time which is taken for the first time is longer than the execution time taken in second execution. That means the time is short in second execution. Why? Because that application is already resides into the primary memory. Once the application resides into the primary memory, it can open more fastly than the first time. Yes, if you restart the system, then it will be removed from the primary memory, and if you try to open that application, it might take longer time. Let's go ahead. Generally, operating system performs following activities into the memory management. That means first it keep tracks the primary memory. That means which part of the primary memory is occupied by the particular hardware, software, or which is in used by the user. In multi-programming, which process will get executed and how much memory should it requires for executing that particular process. It allocates the memory when a particular process get requested by the hardware or user, and even it deallocates that memory once the process gets completed. In short, memory management manages the memory as per the requirement of the system resources, or we can say that from the entire block of memory, unit called memory management calculates the required memory for the process or the request which is given by the user, occupied it and give it to the system central processing unit to get execute that particular process. Once the everything gets finished, even it is the responsibility of memory management unit to allocate that particular located memory. That means it deallocates the memory which is occupied by the central processing unit for completing the particular request. Why it should require to do all these things? Because that memory should be reusable for the other resources. I hope all of you have a clear cut idea which I want to share with all of you. We will discuss more in next lecture by introducing process management. This is the second functionality of operating system. Thank you very much students for listening me and have a nice day.